안녕하세요. Riding on the Korean wave. Welcome to Wednesday's edition of The Culture Wave. I'm Kwon So-ah in Seoul. Explore with us Korea's culture from all aspects and stay up to date with K-entertainment, K-movies, K-food, and drinks, K-everything. And we'll do all of that with our co-host, Walter Lee, here in the studio with me. Hello, Walter.
Hello, Soa, and hello, everyone at home. I'm Walter Lee. I always have the latest K-Inter news for you, so stick around for that.
We had some exciting military discharge news yesterday, and part 2 is coming up today.
It is indeed.
But first, let's also say hello to Choi Soo-hyung, Arirang's culture correspondent. Welcome, Soo-hyung.
Hello, Soo-hyung.
Hello, hello, Walter, and viewers across the world. I'm Choi Soo-hyung. Thanks for having me.
So, Soo-hyung, a Korean animation film was released back in April, and it made huge waves, but not in Korea, but actually in North America, and in particular the US. I mean, we did report about that movie before, but you, Soo-hyung, you got the chance to meet the person who's behind the making of this screen work, so I'll let you reveal the masterpiece.
Yeah, so as the King of Kings by Jang Seong-ho, and it has surpassed Bong Joon-ho's Parasite in the box office in the US and become the highest grossing original Korean film ever released in there. And I met director Jang and was able to hear some in-depth behind-the-scenes stories. Let's take a look.
The King of Kings is a 3D animated film directed by Jang Seong-ho. It tells the life story of Jesus based on the book The Life of Our Lord by British author Charles Dickens. Famous Hollywood actors like Pierce Brosnan, Uma Thurman, and Ben Kingsley voiced the characters. Following its release in the US on April 11th, the film made over $54 million in just 17 days, breaking the box office record of Bong Joon-ho's Parasite for the highest grossing Korean film in the US. Director Jang Seong-ho expressed both pride and humility about achieving such success with a non-Korean story told through a Korean production team.
I had been running a visual effects company for a long time, so I was confident in technical skills. I thought animation was the best way to fully use them. But Korea couldn't support the budget, so we aimed for the US market. Christian content there almost never fails, and no one had ever made a full-length animated film about Jesus. That's when I knew this would work.
He said Christianity is deeply rooted in American culture, so he adapted Dickens' book to avoid cliché and worked hard to make it feel natural to international audiences.
We were inspired by Dickens' book for a fresh approach to tell the story through the eyes of a curious child learning who the true king is. Since our main target was America, we focused on making it feel natural to their audience. We got expert advice and many reviews to ensure it wasn't just imitation, but something truly comfortable.
He said it was tough to focus fully on character quality and production without much support.
Creating delicate character movement was a real challenge, and I'm not fully satisfied with the results. Most of my energy went into securing funding without much support, not creating. But now, with better support and conditions, I'm confident the next project will be much stronger.
He hopes that Korea's animation environment won't waste the talents of Korean creators.
There are many talented Koreans, but a lack of opportunities pushes them away, often abroad. Many are now working in Hollywood. I hope the success of my work, The King of Kings, helps create a better environment so they can return and shine in Korea.
The King of Kings will be released in Korea on July 23rd.
Well, I can't wait for that release here in Korea. I mean, it's not only been out in North America, but also in European countries, in Australia, and also a number of Asian countries as well, as Walter recently also reported, right? It's been already so big around the world.
Yes, it has. I remember talking about it recently. And, you know, I think bit by bit, Korean productions are slowly becoming more and more popular around the world globally, but especially when it comes to, let's say, Korean animations. I mean, this is not something that we are very well known for, but this is great to see. But hearing director Jang's story, I can imagine he must have gone through a very tough thorough time to make this movie, right?
Right, he had been working and preparing on the animation for a decade, and he also said that there were many challenges before him, and thanks to those challenges, and he learned by analyzing what had gone wrong, and thanks to his team's efforts, he kept on going despite all the setbacks. So that's why he never thinks that he succeeded all by himself. He also mentioned that part of the success came from meeting the right US distributors specializing in Christian content. And also he added, perhaps with a bit of luck and in marketing as well under the current Trump administration. So with its shift back toward the conservative Christian value in the US.
Yeah,
interesting.
That would be actually very helpful, especially with Trump always supporting the Christian side of things. And even though that Christianity might be, I guess, usually bigger in the Western countries, though very big here in Korea, the attention to the movie is receiving domestically like a lot of huge attention already. And I heard that many famous Korean actors already have done the voice dubbing already.
Yes, right. Top-tier famous Korean actors like Lee Byung-hun and Lee Han-hee and Jin Sun-gyu already dubbed the key main characters, and both a subtitled and dubbed version will be released together in theaters. So please do not miss this July.
July 23rd, was
July
it?
23rd,
All right,
right.
so I'll try to watch both versions, the English version as well as the Korean version. Well, thank you very much, Soo-young, for that coverage, and talk to you again soon.
Thank you, Soo-young.
Thank you, my pleasure.
And now it's time for K-Enter News with Walter Lee. Walter, yesterday it was all about RM and V's discharge from mandatory military service. And as we forecasted, we're talking about two other members today. It's Jungkook and Jimin.
That's correct. So yes, 6 members down and 1 more to go. Jungkook and Jimin of BTS completed their mandatory military service at the 5th Infantry Division at Yeoncheon County on Wednesday. So as both arrived to greet fans and the media, they were met with bouquets of flowers before saluting in front of the crowd. So let's see what the boys had to say during their first media appearance since their discharge.
여러분들, 저희 저녁 하는 거 보러 와주셔서 너무 감사드리고, 오늘 6월 11일 제5사단 현들팔찌 부대에서 저녁을 명받았습니다. 이에 신고합니다. 안 들리시겠지만 멀리서 이렇게 저희 보러 와주셔가지고 기자님들 다 너무 감사드리고 팬분들도 오늘 여기 많이 와주셨는데 진심으로 감사드립니다. 아무래도 아미 여러분들께 먼저 말씀을 드리자면 코로나부터 해가지고 저희 군대까지 꽤 긴 시간이었는데 계속 기다려주시고 해서 너무 감사합니다. 오늘 전역을 했기 때문에 앞으로 저희가 계속 그려나가던 그림을 앞으로 그려나가면 되지 않을까 싶고 더 좋은 모습 준비해서 보여드리도록 하겠습니다.
Now, I did say there is 1 member to go, and that member is Sugar, and that's going to be on June 21st.
That means there's just a little over a week before we get to see the boys all together. Maybe I should say men now, because they're out of the army and they're going to return to their army. So really, it will be a big moment for the army. And now let's move over from the army to the MI, because that's the fandom of aespa. You've got news about the girl group.
That's correct, yes. Girl group aespa is set to return with their new single called Dirty Work, and also has announced their 3rd world tour. Now, on Tuesday, aespa's official social media channels unveiled the logo poster for their upcoming world tour, 2025 aespa Live Tour Sync Access Line. Now, the group will kick off their tour with a 3-day concert from August 29th to 31st at the KSPO Dome in Seoul's Olympic Park. Now, following the announcement of their Japan Arena tour, which includes 10 shows across 4 cities. aespa has now revealed plans for a world tour, raising anticipation for a year full of activities as they celebrate their 5th anniversary. Meanwhile, Dirty Work will be released on June 27th via various music platforms, along with their physical album released on the same day.
All right, thank you very much, Walter, for those updates, and don't go anywhere.
Will do.
And now it's time for our AI anchor, Ari, to deliver her daily dose of K-Culture news. Ari, take it away.
Hello and welcome to your AI guide to the latest cultural updates from Korea. Here's our top story. The Korean government is stepping up efforts to combat rising overseas copyright infringement of K-content. The Culture Ministry held the 2025 Copyright Protection Enforcement International Cooperation meeting on Tuesday, bringing together content industry leaders and law enforcement officials from Korea and abroad. Participants included investigative officials from the Philippines and Malaysia, Interpol, Naver Webtoon, and Kakao Entertainment. They discussed strategies for blocking illegal websites and strengthening cross-border cooperation for a stronger joint copyright enforcement. Public access to the former presidential office of Cheongwade will be adjusted starting next month in line with the relocation of Korea's top office back to the Blue House. According to the Blue House Foundation, visits to Cheongwade will be partially restricted from July 16 to 31st and temporarily suspended from August 1st until President Lee Jae-myung's move is complete. This is to allow for security and safety inspections for the new president and his aides. The Blue House was opened to the public in 2022 when former President Yoon Suk-yeol relocated the presidential office to Yongsan to mark the 75th anniversary of the Korean War. A special exhibition highlighting the voices and dedication of veterans is underway in Seoul. The nonprofit organization Project Soldier is hosting the event titled Project Soldier, Searching for Korean War Veterans at SJ Kunsthalle in Nonhyundong, Gangnam-gu District through June 25th. The exhibit features Korean War veterans' testimonies, photographs, and historical records, delivering the powerful message that freedom is not free. Organizers said the event aims to honor the sacrifices made during the war and remind the public of the value of hard-fought freedom. That's all from me. Stay tuned to the Culture Wave.
The deep taste and aroma of traditional Korean liquor combined with the flavor and beauty of Hansik or Korean food. Today, we introduce a special occasion where all of that came together in perfect harmony in Ottawa, the capital of Canada. Let's connect to our K-correspondent there, Timothy Willett, CEO of Somewise Inc. Hello, Timothy.
Hello, Timothy.
How are you? And so a phenomenal mention of my name. People here even get it. People here even get it wrong. So that was fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'll say once more, Timothy Willett. Well, let's start off with a brief introduction of yourself and also what you do.
Absolutely. So I teach wine and spirits here in Ottawa. And our company teaches everything from the boring stuff like compliance and liquor laws. There's a lot of liquor laws here in Canada. But the fun stuff is what we're talking about today. So connecting people with these traditional drinks of certain nations, introducing them to things that they've never done before. And you mentioned that Ottawa was the capital of Canada. And luckily for us, that means the embassies are here, the trade commissions are here, and we get to work with those groups. We work with a lot of different governments so far. And so we worked with South Korea most recently, and it was fantastic. It was eye-opening. It's the best part of my job. So essentially, I'm a wine and spirits educator.
So you just mentioned working together with South Korea. So let's hear about that event you recently participated in, which was aimed at promoting traditional Korean alcoholic drinks.
Yeah, there was actually 2 events. So there was the general public event on the Friday, or sorry, there's the industry event on the Friday. So wine and spirits experts, yeah, there it is. we got 50 of them together. They were sommeliers. They worked at the government-run liquor store. Some media people were there as well, some winemakers. And so that was the big event on the Friday, where we went through 8 different drinks, traditional Korean drinks. That was fantastic. Everybody voted too, so you could vote with what you liked on your phone, like 1 through 5, and the scores were great. And the next day, the Saturday, we got to do the general public event. And this was organized by the Korean Cultural Center. There was there was like a cooking display. And we kind of made the information less nerdy because it wasn't for experts, you know? It was for people who had heard about Korean traditional liquors, Korean Soul, and wanted to try it and wanted to pair it with food. So 2 different events, and they were phenomenal because they showed the difference between the tastes of both sides. So the professionals, we've tasted everything. We're not shocked by anything, you know? So when you saw us drink 42% soju, we're like, you know, it's part of the job. But then you see everyday people try that and they're kind of blown away. I'm like, whoa, I don't know if I can handle this. So it was really great to see what the general public wanted and what the experts wanted. So yeah, 2 events went incredibly well.
That's excellent to hear. Now, you did mention 8 alcoholic beverages and also some food. Let's get a bit more deep into that. Which alcoholic beverages did you try or did you introduce? And also, tell us a bit more about the food as well.
I wish I could say more about the food, but I was working and pretty much everybody ate everything while I was working. So by the end, I got to have some dubu kimchi with some soju. It was a great pairing, but that was the only pairing I got, unfortunately. As for the drinks, we started off with an off-dry rosé. So the way our events works is the second you walk in the door, we hand you a glass of wine, and that's what we handed to people right away was this Galjasan Mountain Rosé. They walked in, there's all these Korean art installations around. They had their rosé. Then we moved on to Cheongju, Yakju, then 3 Macaulys, and all of them were actually locally produced, which is pretty interesting. And then we moved on to 2 traditional sojus, so they were 40 and 42% alcohol. One was made with rice, and one was with sweet potato, so you got to see the differences between those 2. We paired them with food you had on the side. We had 3 different food options. What you're seeing there on the screen, that was the next day. So there were a lot more food options that day. It was kind of more of a cooking demo. And the group there, we didn't want to overwhelm them with too many drinks. So they just had 3. They had the yakju, the makgeolli, and she's, I think, making the pancake there. And then we finished with a soju. So 8 products, you know, various background of things. We essentially tried everything I had ever heard of from Korea before, which was fantastic. So 8 different products, couple of food pairings. Wish I had more, but the second day I got to have the makgeolli with the jun, the pancake, and that was fantastic because it was actually raining outside. So it was just perfect pairing, perfect weather for it.
Well, we're gonna go deeper into the pairing in a bit, but I have to say it's very interesting to hear that soju being made also with sweet potato, because you hear a lot about sweet potato or chestnut makgeolli, but not a lot about sweet potato soju, for instance. So there, I guess, was really a variety of Korean traditional liquor, and yes, soju is also a traditional liquor. And also, we want to hear about traditional liquors having actually become quite popular in Canada in recent days. So how do you perceive that trend?
It's an interesting trend, and I hope it stays because this is a very trendy industry and you see things pop up and go away. But I think this is here to stay because I used to live out in the western part of Canada near Vancouver about 15 years ago. And that's when I started seeing soju on the shelves. I saw those little green bottles popping up everywhere. And that was out in Vancouver. When I came back to Ontario, it really wasn't on the market yet, but it started popping up first in Quebec, the French-speaking part of the country, because they're kind of more open to trying different things. And then the last 5 years, big in Ontario, big everywhere. It's mostly soju. Makgeolli is catching on a little bit, but it's almost exclusively soju. And because it counts as a spirit here, it's just at the government-run liquor stores. But when I was working there years ago, we would just see, maybe one flavor, like grape, and then the regular soju, and that was it. And they started selling out all the time. I'm like, are they gonna, get with the trend? Obviously, it's popular. We can't keep it on the shelves. And so it took a while, but you go into even the small stores now, and they've almost got full sections of soju. Tons of different flavors, producers from Korea, producers from Canada. I think there's some producers from the US too. It's incredible. There's lots of stuff on the shelves now. So it's full. Is it a good trend? Yeah, I think it's going at a great speed because I've seen a lot of things come and go. You see something go up too fast and it crashes just as fast. But soju's got really good traction. I hope we can grab that traction. We can start to move towards some appreciation instead of just the entry level stuff. We can start to move up to the good stuff too. And so it's picking up year over year. I'd say it's almost exclusively soju, but it was really nice to introduce people to the other things. They'd probably heard of makgeolli, but maybe never had it before, and not even heard of yakju or cheongju. That was totally new to them. So the trend's good, it's solid, and we're working really hard to try and to capture it, to grab that traction and hold on and make sure that it sticks around.
That's excellent. You've kind of answered my next question, but let me try to twist it up a little bit for you. When we talk about North America and it comes to like Korean culture penetrating North American scene, we usually talk about the US, but obviously in Canada these days, it seems to be growing as well. There's a lot of Koreans moving to Canada as well, and more Korean restaurants as well as liquor stores are popping up. Are you noticing the fact that more Korean restaurants, more liquor stores, and the fact that Hallyu or the Korean wave is increasing in Canada itself? Can you see that yourself?
In restaurants, 100%. It's almost like I live out in the country. Every time I go downtown, there's like a new Korean restaurant. So the ones that you're seated at, they've got a lot of the traditional beverages. And so people are becoming more aware of it through that. So in the restaurant scene, 100%. I've even heard of people making mixed drinks with the products, not bomb shots. That hasn't really caught on here, but they're making mixed drinks with soju. And it's really big there. People know about it. As for the stores, I mentioned we have issues with the grocery stores because soju can't get in there yet. We did work with a small Korean grocer here called Seoul Mart. And they have a few locally produced makgeollis, which is really nice to see. But it's few and far between for the grocery. So essentially right now, are we seeing it big in restaurants? 100%. Are we seeing it really big in the government stores? Yes. But because of regulations, it's not really around in the grocery stores yet, which is new for us, even having alcohol in the grocery stores. I've heard that New York and California have a special exemption for soju because a lot of it's so low in alcohol. And even Quebec, right across the border here, does the same thing. The places where you can sell beer and wine, you can also sell soju. So hopefully that happens here too. And we can start seeing on the grocery store shelves and just let it foster, let it pick up. Because it's big in the restaurants, and that's usually, the restaurants are where the trendy people are. So that's usually where things start.
It's great to see that development there. Now, Timothy, while Korean spirits are great on their own, they often shine even brighter when paired with good Korean food. So are Canadian consumers actually familiar with that combination of, for instance, makgeolli and ton, as you mentioned, or soju with samgyeopsal, for instance?
No. From what I can see right now, it's just restaurant people, which is okay. It'll catch on somewhere else. But I hadn't even heard the word jeon before this. Everyone just calls them Korean pancakes. And so it's popular in those groups. But are people familiar with those pairings? No, but that's kind of what's exciting about this is we get to introduce people to it. When at both shows we were doing the food pairings, people loved it, especially because they're so used to the typical pairings that they've heard a million times, champagne and oysters. They were really interested in this, and the cultural elements of it, the pairing it with the weather, that's so cool. I've never heard of anything like that before. So are they familiar? No, but I think they're going to get familiar because they're getting familiar now with the foods. Korean fried chicken is huge here. The options are endless in the city. But if you ask the wine people, what do you pair with Korean fried chicken? They're going to say champagne. They're not saying traditional Korean stuff yet. So that's what we're working on, and I think it's going to work. It went so well. So it's not there yet. It's moving forward. It will get there. It's positive, but right now, no, the general public isn't. But the people in the industry are familiar with the pairings.
That's really great to hear. And as you just had these successful 2 events, probably you're going to have further similar events. And maybe in years to come, people will be more familiar with even the Korean style pairings with Korean traditional liquor. Well, thank you very much, Timothy, for connecting with us today, and keep in touch.
Thank you, Timothy.
Absolutely. So, Walter, thank you very much for having me. It was great.
Thank you. And thank you, Walter. As always, we're going to see you back here next week.
See you next week.
Thank you for spending the past half an hour with us on the Culture Wave. And please join us again tomorrow on Thursday at 2 p.m. Korea time, and maybe one day here in Korea.